What's up, long players? Welcome to the Long Play Listening Party, the show where we go deep on local music, writing, recording, inspiration, gear, whatever else sounds good to us. I'm Howie Howard from Mr. Furious Records. We're rushing through a little mini episode tonight with Nate and Royce about an album that Royce and I have made called Not One Person Left Out. And Nate, why don't you go ahead and hit us? We're going to listen to 3 songs. Here comes the opener called Just to Have the Memory.
Okay.
And
Non-Killer Bees beat take 2.
right, so for these song titles, for like half of them I used my working titles for the raw jams and put kind of a piece of Royce's vocals like lyrics in the parentheses, and half of them it's the other way around, and Royce's part comes first. So it's more that like 50-50 kind of mushing together of these worlds.
This is another product of Howie, of Mr. Furious.
Totally.
How did you come up with this idea? First of all, how did the production go? Let's do that. You do it the way you do it.
No. That's perfect. That's where I want to go. So this is one of those kind of gear-driven records. I don't have the date in front of me, but like maybe like 4 years ago or something, I bought an Arturia Drum Brute Impact drum machine. It's a really affordable analog drum machine.
They're great.
I love mine. With a couple of small caveats, but overall I do love it. And
always is. Always are.
On this one, it's the tom sounds. The tom sounds are just not super there, but
yeah.
It's got a lot of other great sounds in it. I love the sequencer. Adore the sequencer. But so this is the album I started I buy a piece of gear, I make an album. So these jams were drum brute jams, focused on the drum brute, focused on the drum patterns, and performing the pads live in some cases. I would hook it up to one other synth just to get some sound, a bass sound or some weird whatever like you hear. Those synths were either a Volca bass or a MS-20 Mini. I think those are the only 2 things I used. So I made the jams, and that material went into the computer and sat there for years because it didn't feel finished.
Everything so all those 2 synths were plugged into the Arturia somehow?
Yeah. So sometimes I'd use MIDI to kind of sync up something.
Okay.
Sometimes I would literally use a sound. So the Arturia has a few individual outs. With the MS-20, I could take an individual drum sound out and use that to trigger the MS-20 with audio.
Oh, okay.
So there were different ways I would hook them up, and it was only one synth at a time. It was either or.
And you captured that synth inside of Reaper?
Captured it on my iPad, mono.
Oh, okay.
Mono sound into the iPad. That dumped into Reaper, sat for years, got the SP404 sampler about 1.5 years ago, and started playing with all the effects, which is like one of the big things about the 404. And I don't remember specifically where the idea, Royce, came to pull you in, but like somehow between dumping these jams onto the 404 for effects processing and the idea to use vocal samples as a part of that, I came up with the idea to have you record raw vocal material, lines from your notebooks, ideas that crossed your mind, whatever those were, and to chop those up and layer those in and finish the record that way. So it kind of, there's 2 very distinct stages of like making the raw jams, waiting 2 or 3 years, and then this second phase of processing all the effects, creating the vocal samples with you. We did that in December at your studio, and
We had 2 sessions, right? We did one at your house and one at mine.
Right, and the one at my house, we'll hear that. That's the verse from the very last one.
Okay. And so the really fun and interesting and freeing part for this on this project for me was like, I mean, I think I rapped to like some beats or something like that, but none of them were like these tracks. Is that correct?
That's right. We recorded these. I think some of them we just recorded to silence.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Some of them we used the Christina Graves Today remix as a bed, and you would do vocals to that, even though we were gonna not use it on that track.
And they were like random.
Yep.
Like I would just flip through my notebook and I'd say a couple lyrics to him, like, "Do you like that?" He's like, "Yeah, go record it." You know.
And
so that's pretty cool.
It worked out perfectly. I felt so lucky and so, I guess, grateful to you and connected to you as I sat down with these 9 songs and 9 sets of vocal samples we didn't have a plan as far as what went with what. And I just started picking, like I just started listening through and I picked the first match I found, call it the 3rd song and the 5th vocal sample. Okay, I'm gonna put these 2 together. Great, now they're off the list. Now I'm gonna listen through again and like find the next match.
Oh, okay.
And I worked one song and one set of vocal samples at a time, and it came out perfectly. And I couldn't have predicted at the end. You get down to the last song and last sample. Well, here it is, and it was great.
It was interesting to me on first playback just to hear the lyrics that you chose or the pieces of the lyrics that you chose and things of that nature. But on a side note, one of the things that I really enjoyed was like, I haven't been on that side of the glass in that way in a very long time. You know what I mean? With somebody on the other side of the glass, running, do it again, just go, like really kind of being produced.
Right.
That felt really, really good. And I didn't have to worry about, I could just go in there and not worry about whether or not it was good. It's just like, I'm just going to do the best that I can do, and he'll tell me what he wants, So that was, thank you for that.
And thank you. I got to sit at your big desk, and it's the only time I've sat at the desk of a real studio and done a little work. So that was very cool.
I appreciate it.
We did for the real heads out there. We did the Today verse from the Christina Graves Today remix. We did that on the same night. Was the vocals?
We did, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah. How long was that session?
Well,
because you came in from Lawrence.
Yeah, it was evening. I don't know, 3 hours, maybe 4, not more than that.
That's what I figured.
And part of it, I mean, you were kind of polishing up and flipping through notebooks to find what you were going to use, and so that wasn't all hot mic,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So this track...
Yeah, I had no...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say I had no idea what I was going to offer, so...
It's kind of... I mean, it is just kind of a... There's a lot of happy accidents on this record at every level.
Some of them I'm like, what is that part of? Like trying to remember what lyrics, because I write these, it's just like a page, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's hard to be in the middle of the page. It's like, what happened at bar 27?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there were like multiple levels of editing. Because sometimes you would pull out, say, 4 lines off a page, and then from those 4 lines, I might only pull 2 into the song.
Mm-hmm. Did you move anything around? Like, did you hear lines where, like, sometimes when I'm writing songs, like I'll write, I don't ever edit when I'm writing, right? Like I just want it to all come out. But then when I go back, I'm like, actually, this makes way more sense with this line in front of that line. You know what I mean? And that really kind of delivers the narrative or the story that I'm trying to tell. Did you do any of that kind of stuff when you were editing the vocals? I mean, how did you even just mentally approach which lyrics you were going to pick?
Well, as far as I remember, I kind of went into every song with a soft goal of using everything, at least using every word that you put down. Sometimes there'll be multiple versions of a line, so I might not use every version of every line. But I mainly tried to use every word, didn't always do it, and I mainly tried to have your original idea appear at the dynamic peak of the song. So in the builds and in the...
So what synth is this, Howie?
Since it's sequenced and locked into the rhythm, I'm guessing Volca bass. It does sound pretty fat though, so I'm not...
It does sound pretty fat for a vocal bass.
Yeah.
Not that they don't sound good, but that's a good vocal bass sound if it is a vocal bass.
Yeah, it doesn't really sound like the Volca bass. I don't know how... Yeah.
This is a very
I don't know how it would have linked up anything else, though. But
Could it be an MS-20 thing?
I can't think how I would get it to replay the phrase in time as I'm performing the drum root. But maybe. It might be. I mean, it does sound a lot closer to the MS-20 than to a vocal bass. And I want to pause when Royce's verse comes in. I want to pause and listen to the full verse. This is the last song. This is the only place that a full verse like appears on the record. But with the chopping, here we go.
I wake up to moods blue. I wake up to moods blue and hues of gray. For years I spent hours distributing that blame. Listening, I heard the truth slip loose and state. I was oblivious to the progress that I made. Plans scribbled, dated, and starred in my notebook page. Hiding in the shadow of safe. My soul stewing between bars. On my work, I find the buried treasure that I chase. My future leverage on the skills of my trade. Passion and discipline dance with my fate. Stepped into a zone and overstayed on an uninspired cold January day. Old man procrastination nipping at the edge of my blade. It's heavy carrying a goal that feels vague. Habits create feels and yields plagues. Caught between blessing doing it my way. Caught between blessing doing it all my way. Found peace with my nose in the page. I'm either lost or escape. My ego stressed under the spotlight of my dossier. Minutes are fragile, time demands focus and payment. Cause each breath has a premium. Now, you either moving or you decaying. If I'm breathing, I have a reason to raise a glass of celebration. My thoughts have a passion riddled with words and statements. Just to have the memory of us trying to make it. Just to have the memory of us trying to make it.
Man, I got to tell you, I was in a really dark place when I wrote that, and it doesn't feel that way. And I thank you for helping me bring that out.
Well,
like,
I mean,
Just to have the memory.
it's an honor to step into your world a little bit that way, and I think the darkness is certainly there. It's just to have the memory of us trying to make it. It's a thin ray of light. It's a ray of light, but it's a thin ray of light. And this song kind of illustrates what I was trying to get to earlier in terms of like, I tried to have your original idea
My thoughts have a passion riddled with words.
come at the peak of the song. And then before and after is where I would chop and rearrange and try and do things to kind of like pull words out of the middle of phrases or rearrange things to kind of say something different so that when you get to that peak, you're hearing something. It's a mix of familiar and new. so you're not bored of the phrase by the time you get to the part where you like really hear it all together. And that's a rough concept, but that's how I tried to think about like how to turn
Caught between blessing doing it my way.
a small amount of vocal material into an arrangement that could last 4 or 5 or 6 minutes and hopefully stay interesting.
Just to have the memory.
And that we recorded that at in your studio.
This verse was done in my basement last summer.
Yeah.
This is the first thing you did as part of this project. I was just you're just like show me a beat. And you just really kind of had a moment. I don't know, these words, this page of your notebooks found you or whatever.
Yeah.
And we really zoomed in. I thought we would do all the vocal samples that night, but we really zoomed in. We only did this verse.
It turned out really good.
It turned out awesome, and we really worked it. I mean, I remember we
worked with the
we worked it a little
I
bit.
remember changing some of the phrasing. I remember that part where it kind of repeats there in the middle of the verse and then keeps going. That was like your idea to do that. You felt like that needed a little bit more light. You know what I mean? It worked out really well, and I enjoyed that process. You know, it's when you're writing songs, especially from your own perspective, it's a very isolating space. So to share those lyrics with somebody and have them go that journey with you was very exhilarating for me.
We're a good team, I think. We should do some more stuff.
We should do some more stuff.
Well, I guess I'll have to come up with some beats or something. Not sure how I'm gonna do that, but
Deep Breath has premium.
Oh man, Nate, what do you think?
Minutes of fry.
I think it's pretty dope. I mean, it's definitely.
Breath has a premium.
I like how the vocals were chopped up. That was a good verse in that last track. I think you brought Just to Have the Memory back, right? In track 3.
yeah,
Yeah.
just bookended a little
I
bit.
got you. Yeah. I like that. I like that. I was just like lay verses down and walk away.
Each breath has a premium.
There was that line, caught between blessed and doing it all my way.
Each breath has a
Yeah.
premium.
Yeah. It's interesting too, man, hearing it the way you lay it to the track. I hear it differently. Like consciously I know it's me, but I hear it like a listener as opposed to if I had everything to do with it, you know.
Yeah, I get that way about stuff after some time has passed, kind of. And I mean, I get halfway, not fully, but
Yeah.
I can kind of the details of making it fade a little bit, and you can kind of sit back and see what you did. Well, we got to get out of here. Thanks for going on this short little journey with us. The album's called Not One Person Left Out. That's something, it's a phrase that really actually has a lot of meaning for me in terms of a vision for the kind of future, you know, I want us to have as humans, as people in the world, as all kinds of people. And it's out. We'll say it's out whenever this episode. We're gonna bank this episode we're recording, and we don't know exactly when the album will be out. Probably a couple months from now. This time we're recording, but when you hear the episode, listeners, the album will be out on MrFuriousRecords.bandcamp.com and all your streaming services. Royce Diamond, MS Ride, that's me. Not One Person Left Out. This has been the Long Play Listening Party, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Hey everybody, real quick, I listened to Not One Person Left Out and remembered some stuff about the gear that I wanted to add and clarify. First, in addition to the vocal bass in the MS-20, I did use a Korg monotribe as well. I heard it, it's really clearly the monotribe, and I remember how I set the LFO to give the sequencer like this kind of little bit of swing or this kind of jazzy thing to the sample and hold on the LFO. I'm going to put that track at the end of this episode so you can hear the whole track. It's number 5 on the album, and I'm blanking on the title right now, but it's 100% the monotribe. I'm absolutely sure of that. Second, I remembered how I synced up the MS-20, and it was the MS-20 on that last track where Royce does the whole verse, Load Obliterance. So the signal path, you hear the drums, obviously, and that was clock went out from the drum brute to the Volca bass via MIDI. The sequence was in the Volca bass as an audio sequence, and then I took the headphone out from the Volca bass into the external signal processor of the MS-20, used the external signal processor's frequency to voltage converter to create a new control voltage, and ran that into the MS-20's oscillator CV in. So the sequence gets converted a couple times, right? Like it's saved in the Volca bass as data, but you get it back out as audio. Audio to control voltage, back to audio, and so it's not quite the same every time. There's some glitchiness or graininess or something, which makes that song sound really cool, I think. And now that I've remembered that's how I did it, I'm actually really into doing more of that, and I think I'm going to do a new set of jams kind of based on that concept, and I think I can even take it a little further using audio into the MS-20's external signal processor and frequency to voltage converter to essentially sequence the MS-20 with audio. Should be really cool. Anyway, here's a song. Thanks for indulging us in all the gear. There's a lot of gear talk for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're not really into the gear, I hope you'll enjoy the music and check it out. This is a weird one, but it's one that we're really proud of, and we've got some more normal ones, some poppier ones, and some more weird ones coming eventually. But for now, enjoy Not One Person Left Out. We'll catch you on the next one.
Sketches of a better man. Sketches of a better man.
Sketches of a better man.
Sketches of a better man.
Sketches of a better man. Sketches of a better man. sketches of a better man.
The future's an open hand.
With sketches of a better man. Sketches of a better man. The future's an open hand. With sketches of a better man. Sketches of a better man. Sketches of a better man.
Sketches of a better man.
Sketches of a better man.
Sketches of a better man.
The future's an open hand. With sketches of a better man. Sketches of a better man. Sketches of a better man.
Sketches of a better man.
The future's an open hand. With sketches of a better man. Sketches of a better man.
Sketches of a better man.
Sketches of a better man. The future's an open hand. With sketches of a better man. 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 The future's an open hand. With sketches of a better man. Sketches of a better man. Sketches of a better man. Sketches of a better man.